telling you the truth. He's telling you how they are. He's telling you how they think. I told you men are incapable of love. Stop trying to make them love.
Women are the value. Y'all know what men are doing to women. And it's women's experiences with y'all that is making them leave you. See, you can't convince somebody who actually is having great experiences to see that they're having bad experiences. It's something that y'all doing to these women, and y'all mad because I got the wisdom to turn the light on in these women and make them stand up for themselves.
Think the right way. A woman should be the dominant and a man should be the submissive. That's
because y'all follow commands. You go do. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do, because here's the thing. If y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless. And so women are divorcing y'all in these relationships because they are allowing you to quote unquote lead, and they're being submissive. And since y'all can't lead yourself, y'all leading her to the ground. So here's the thing. The natural order is for the feminine to be the leader.
A few moments later.
Women are 1,000 times more narcissistic than men.
What do women want men to do?
The reality is women want men to be their personal slaves. Women want men to placate to this fantasy that they have in their mind. And women got a lot of fantasies. Women want men to be these aggressive vessels that have a woman's nature. That's what they want. It's like they want their cake and eat it too. So she's willing to cast any kind of man and put him in this role. And if he's going to play this role, he has to pay the bills. Keep your sexual organs only to me. I'm gonna trap your eyes. You can't see no other woman in the world. You focus on me and on me only. And you give me all your money, right? And if he don't do everything that she want him to do, the relationship don't work. So what I've come to find out is men are narcissistic, but women are 1,000 times more narcissistic than men. That women are totally entitled and lazy. That women are totally entitled and lazy.
It's because women are intrinsically lazy. It's because women are intrinsically lazy.
That women are totally entitled and lazy.
Yeah.
Women are very violent.
Yeah.
Women are very violent.
Women are far more narcissistic than men. Women are far more narcissistic than men. Women don't take no responsibility for shit. And women think they vagina make them the center of the goddamn galaxy. Narcissism.
Hello ladies, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've sat down and actually turned on the camera and look at the camera while I'm talking to you. But I decided to get cute today. I feel so much better. Mercury is no longer in retrograde and I feel great. Before we get into the topic, because I already know why you click on this video, the title of the video attracted you. So before we get into that, please subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate that very much. Also share my videos. I think I make pretty good content. And if you would like to get more in-depth, more raw content, I do have a Patreon. I've been doing this since 2020. So I have hundreds and hundreds of videos on there. So, sign up today with the link in the description. So apparently Princella The Queen Maker is in hot water. I'm not going to be talking about Princella for the entirety of this video. I am going to be sharing with you ladies a lesson in discernment. That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And sometimes I have to remember that not everybody have discernment. And I have to keep reminding myself that there are so many grifters out here, and no matter how many of these grifters get exposed, there will always be another one that will come in and take their place. So she did a complete 180, and this is something that textbook grifters do. They would pander to one audience. Once they get the support and the money from that audience, they switch up and then they start harnessing energy and money and resources from another audience. What I saw was personal resentment seeping into her message, and that's not surprising, to be honest, because we're all human. We all have our biases. I understand why a lot of her followers feel betrayed. Also, it's given narcissist supply shift. It's given what I'm getting from just that video. Okay, again, I do not know this woman. However, I had a couple of my followers telling me that I should collab with this person. And when I went and I looked at her videos, I knew that that wasn't going to happen because our message is completely different. So different. I still believe in marriage. I am a married woman. My content, the foundation of my content started with hypergamy and self-improvement. And I'm all about all-round self-improvement. I'm not just about, looking pretty and, giving you these tips and tricks on how to deal with men and how to manipulate men, but also on a spiritual and psychological level as well, because I want my audience to be a well-rounded audience. I want you all to think for yourself. I want you all to be able to practice discernment. This is very important to me. I do not want my audience to be completely dependent on me. That is not where I'm coming from. I actually do care about you and I want to help you, like I really do. You're never going to get me pandering at all. So when I say narcissistic supply shift, basically what is usually happening is that, when the adoration from one group wears off, they go on to another group to get that supply. And usually the other group is the total opposite. And in that video, because I don't have the video in front of me because I saw the video a few days ago, she basically said that her audience, which are women, are lazy and delusional. And when someone does that, when they call their audience lazy and delusional, what they're doing is asserting dominance. They are not trying to foster any kind of growth whatsoever. So I don't know, there's something very toxic about the entire situation. And Princella comes across as a very charismatic person, in the sense that, like Robert Greene, the charismatic archetype. These are the people that start cults. They get people to follow them blindly because they have that charisma. They affirm you and they keep on affirming you, basically telling you what you want to hear. They put you in this echo chamber, and they always are like, every time you see a cult, okay? And I'm not saying that, she has a cult. I'm just looking at, the archetype of Princella. One thing you always have to look for, especially if your discernment is not strong, this is what you need to look for. If the message is us versus them type of message, then you should be concerned, okay? That's when you should be seeing the red flags. That's when the warning bells should be going off. But more on that later. Princella's content never really appealed to me. I used to see her videos popping up on my phone and I would just keep scrolling. Sometimes I might stop and listen. I never watch her live because the way she presents, she's very masculine presenting. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, like I'm not gonna lie. But I'm always suspicious of people who build a platform, especially for women, on self-empowerment. And the foundation is you're the victim, I'm affirming you, these men are horrible, blah, 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 and, absolutely no accountability whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying that she did not call out her audience and ask them to take accountability because, again, I'm just going by that one video, okay? This video is not really about her, but this is a lesson on discernment, so we're going to get to all of that. Please keep on watching, don't click out. What a lot of women don't like to hear, and I've said this several times to my audience, particularly on my Patreon, is that sometimes we have to stop and realize that we are the common denominator in a situation, and we have to be able to make peace with the idea that we are the problem. And hear me out. You will date a guy that will treat you like trash, treat you like the dirt under his boot, and that same guy will go onto another woman and treat her like the world. So I don't know, sometimes, just sometimes, it is us, because a lot of us, we don't do inner work, we don't do shadow work, and we don't love ourselves. The way people treat you and the way people show up in your life is a reflection of you. And that's what most women don't want to hear that. This is not just about women, okay? Anybody that gets on the internet and starts pandering to an audience, and all they're doing is affirming their biases, stroking their ego, they will do well. Because the lack of discernment is not just a woman problem. This is why love bombing works. But if people have discernment and if people understand human nature, you would know that most people that you encounter every day, including even family members, are not affirming you like that constantly all the time. That's not what they're doing. Because, when you listen to these people, it's emotionally intoxicating. You finally feel like if you're being seen. But this person's platform was entirely built on an extreme narrative, like men are the enemy, women are the enemy. You know, this is why we have the Andrew Tates. This is why we have Kevin Samuels. This is why we have women like Princella. And this is why we have Shira Seven. So as much as I love Shira Seven, I have to call it out at the end of the day, because a lot of women, they feel vindicated. They feel seen. They feel like someone finally gets them, someone finally understands. And, you know, it is okay to be affirmed, but there must be a balance. And I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why I don't have a large audience, even though I've been doing this for years. So maybe I have to start doing a little pandering or something. I don't know. Genuine empowerment, it does affirm your strengths, but it calls out your blind spots. That's genuine empowerment. People love their ego being stroked. They love people to affirm them, and that's just human nature. And there are some people that are very much aware of that, and that's why they take advantage of these people. This is why love bombing works. There are some women that don't even take care of themselves. They can't tell when was the last time they went to the gym. They don't even own makeup or anything like that, but then a man comes into their lives and start affirming them and telling them how beautiful they are, and they fall for it. They fall for it hook, line, and sinker. Not knowing that this guy is just trying to find a place to stay where he can lay up and get free sex and free food. Some people are not used to being affirmed, and that is the reason why these people exist. That's why they blew up. That's why they get so big. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but anyway, let's get into the lesson because I feel like I rambled enough. So, when you're choosing a life coach or anybody that you follow, and the reason why you're following them is because you're following them for life advice and relationship advice or whatnot. What you have to look out for, and this is going to help you develop your discernment, okay? You have to look out for that pander to cult pipeline. Number one, the first thing you're going to notice when you are looking at these people, it works like this. There's a pander phase, okay? So they pander into you. They tell you what you want to hear. They affirm your resentment. This is why Andrew Tate blew up. This is why Kevin Samuel blew up, because these men were affirming these men's resentment. There are a lot of men that are angry about women, but, you know, refuse to work on themselves and, you know, get therapy or whatever the hell they want. Girl, I don't know. Then you have the dependency phase. So the audience, they keep tuning in for that dopamine. And this is why I tell you, ladies, you have to stop listening to these people. These people are incredibly toxic. They don't care about you. Sometimes they actually mean what they're saying because they are bitter. Sometimes the person that you are watching that is giving you advice, especially when it comes to relationship, because that's a huge one, these people are bitter. And you know what? That is okay. However, they need to work on themselves instead of getting on the internet and putting on a camera and spewing bitterness. Then the pivot, which is what Princella did. I'm basing this on what I saw in that video. They flip the script for a new audience. Then they start berating their own audience, because that is what it looks like in that video. And the reason why they do this, the reason why they start berating the audience is because they are trying to create controversy and assert dominance. And then you see the cut-like vibes where a lot of the audience still stay in spite of the switch up. That's demonic behavior, in my opinion, because confusion is the work of the devil. And I'm saying that because I can't find a better term for it, because I don't really believe in like a devil, not like how Christians believe in it. But you get what I'm saying, right? I hope. So when they flip the script on you and you remain, it's like you're not there for the message, you're there for the person. So the audience that remain have created this attachment, this parasocial like attachments to this person. And that's why a lot of them stay and they're like, oh, and that's why a lot of people stay in abusive relationships, should be told. And the reason why people miss these red flags is because of the confirmation bias, right? That emotional high, that dopamine that they were getting. These women will get on the internet and talk about how horrible men are every single day. And some of these women are posting 3, 4, 5 videos a day. They get up every day and all they talk about is that, like, I have so many of these women blocked, and I'm not gonna call names because, you know, I'm not trying to, like, I'm really not trying to get messy. I just want people to focus on the lesson here. And of course, you have to factor in the crowd validation and the victim identity, the way the people that I identify, because most women that follow this content, they believe that they are victim of men, they are victims of their past relationship, etc. Okay, and it is what it is. So just to close off and wrap all of this up, you have to ask yourself this question when you decide to choose someone as your coach, okay? Because most of our coaches are online, they sell courses, they have Patreon. I mean, that's what we do. But you gotta ask yourself this question, okay? Do they push me to take uncomfortable but necessary actions? That's a good question, because if you feel so comfortable in their presence and you can't wait for when they make another video and like you just hanging on to their every word and you have this person on a pedestal, that right there is very unhealthy. When I see this type of behavior, I call it out immediately, and I have a lot of proof of that on my Patreon, okay? I've had people that were following me that saw me as this sort of godlike figure and I can't do wrong and I can't make mistakes, and I'm like, listen, I immediately burn that pedestal. And some of them, they left, and that is okay. What I'm offering is not what they're looking for. Another question you have to ask yourself is, do they encourage independent thought? Do they encourage you to be a free thinker? Or do they just reinforce their own ideology? That's another question. If this person vanished tomorrow, especially if this is someone that you've been following for a while, would your life be better off? And not to toot my own horn, but I've had so many of my followers that came in my DMs and told me that I changed their life based on the work that I've been doing over the years. Not only does that affirms me, because, you know, that's where I look for my affirmations, but that tells me that, you know what, I'm on the right track. And, you know, even though I don't have like millions of followers, at least I'm making an impact in the lives of a few people. And that makes me happy, you know. Sorry to make this about me, but I know that if I were to vanish from the internet, I know that there are people whose life that I helped changed for the better. And my OG followers know that I am not afraid to call them out. Especially if you were wrong in Facebook, I would get on there and snatch edges. But at the end of the day, you really have to work on your discernment. You have to remind yourself, okay, that people in general are not very generous with words of affirmations and compliments. That is not what most people are like. So if that is what you're seeing, then you might want to step back and ask yourself, what's going on here? Am I making the right decision by following this person and investing time and energy, listening to this person, signing to their Patreon, sharing their videos, buying their courses, buying their books? Like, you gotta ask yourself that question. The biggest question you should ask is this person pandering to me? The reason why pandering works is because people crave validation. They really do. Does this person challenge you? Real growth comes from friction, not from constant agreement. Okay? They will call you out. They're going to call out your blind spots. I do not know what this woman was doing, Princella, but all I saw is that she was just pandering to women that are hurt and resentful and angry because they did not feel seen by men, or the men in their life did not treat them very well. Also, be aware of the ego stroke. If every single video they get on there and they're like, this is what men are like, and this is why we can't trust them, you're the victim, and they use weaponized incompetence, blah, blah, blah. These women are not telling you how to deal with men, how to choose men properly. All they get on there is talk about how horrible men are. They are not telling you how to become a better version of yourself, how to work on yourself, how to do shadow work, how to love yourself, how to choose yourself, how to put yourself first. They're not telling you that. They get on there and they talk about how horrible men are, and all the men are horrible except their husband and their daddy. Because There's one on TikTok. Her daddy is the most perfect man ever, and a lot of these women are married. Me as a married woman cannot come on here and just build my entire foundation, my entire platform on men hating. I mean, we all, indulge in a little bit of man hating ever so often. That's human, but building your entire platform on that is crazy to me. It's insane. And these women still want relationship is beyond me. I mean, haven't we learned from the Derek Jacksons, the Kevin Samuels, and now we have this entire genre, okay, of man hating on TikTok about, how horrible men are. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what do you want in a man if you want a healthy relationship. You have to figure out what the role that man is going to play in your life, not what you're going to play in his life. You got to figure that out. Like, we have to be sovereign, ladies, and we have to start approaching relationships from sovereignty. We can't just be going in with rose-colored glasses and all lovey-dovey. Like, if you really want to know about men, get on my Patreon and watch the truth about men. You need to listen to the sex workers, okay? You have to listen to the sex workers. You have to listen to the women that are married, and not only are they married, they don't look drained and tired. If a woman has been married for more than 10 years and she still looks good, she still looks youthful, she still looks pretty, she hasn't lost all her beauty, that's the woman you have to be listening to. These people are not going to go anywhere. As long as there are vulnerable people, as long as there are people who don't love themselves, as long as there are people who lack self-awareness and lack discernment, these people will exist. And you know what? I am not mad at these people, because these are the people that are going to bring you life lessons. Okay? People either come in your life as a blessing or as a lesson. And let this be a lesson to all of us. This is a lesson in discernment. I'm sick and tired of these grifters, but at the end of the day, they're not going to go away. All I have to do is continue to do what I'm doing, mind my business, and live my life. So you have to take a deep look at the relationship that you have with men and the relationship that you have with the divine masculine. Because that relationship starts from within, because within all of us, we have the divine feminine and the divine masculine. If you do not have a good relationship with your masculine side, you are going to struggle with men. If you don't look at your childhood trauma around your father or the father figures in your life, you have to work on that. Because people are going to come in here and affirm your traumas to you. They are going to affirm your biases. They're going to stroke your ego, take your money, and then you did not learn anything. I mean, you did learn something, because if someone scam you out of your money, I mean, that's a lesson in of itself, right? But that wasn't the lesson that you were trying to learn. So I do not know what to say, what else to tell you, ladies. But think of these two women, okay? Think of Steve Harvey and his ex-wife and his current wife. It's the same man. Two different women got different results from the same man. Steve Harvey's ex-wife is still hurt and in pain because of what happened, because she's been talking about that marriage and how she felt robbed and cheated for years. Meanwhile, Marjorie Harvey is living her best life. So sometimes the problem is us. We have to do the shadow work. We have to heal the wounded feminine and the wounded masculine within us. And then you're going to see that you are going to be attracting much better quality men. Stop asking me where to go to find provider men, because provider men are everywhere. They're all around you. Stop asking me what countries have the most generous men or whatnot. Don't ask me that. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to focus more on the spiritual aspect of leveling up as a woman. Because it doesn't matter where you go in the world. If you do not have a good relationship with yourself, if you're not healing your wounds, if you are operating from the wounded feminine, it doesn't matter where in the world you go. This is the reason why passport bros, they go to other countries and it's the same results. They yield the same results. It's not the country, it's not the place, it's not the man or the woman, it is you. It is you. And yes, I know people don't want to hear that, but I'm going to tell it to you because you know why? I love you. I love you and I want you to win and I want you to do better. So that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.